All right. This is a new format I'm using for making my videos. This might make them a little quicker, or maybe it won't. I don't know. I'm going to check it out. It should be fun. Um, what I want to talk about today is something I've observed from watching a lot of YouTube. I've been watching maybe a little too much YouTube, but it's good research. Being a YouTuber, you gotta watch little YouTube. But I've been noticing some trends that have been concerning me, especially regarding the YouTube self help category. Now, there's a lot of great videos out there, and I think what everyone's doing is awesome. But I think there's a problem that's occurring that's not intentional by the YouTubers themselves, mostly. It's related to some of the problems of the modern day. Whether I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad, but there's certainly a lot less religion than there used to be, like, 40, 50, 100 years ago. People, are getting a lot more, not worried about it because they don't have time to be religious, even if they're like, oh, I'm Christian, I just don't believe in the faith. And I'm like that too. I mean, I don't really like go to church much or anything. And it's pretty normal. It's been a trend for the last 30 years, and a lot of people aren't religious at all. But history has shown that religion seems to be sort of a constant for humankind. Pretty much almost all societies seem to have some sort of spirituality or faith that they believe in, oftentimes to explain the unknown, like, miracles and death and life, the really complicated stuff. In today's society, there's kind of a void of that. A lot of people don't have that, but I think it's still in human nature to want to seek out some kind of religion, and I think that's where the problem comes in to with like self-help YouTubers, uh, and even more than that, especially like hustle culture guys. Like, I think some of the biggest examples is like Andrew Tate and maybe even Hamza, but I think he's a little more modest. I don't think he's really related to this as much. But like, let's take Andrew Tate for example. He's not the only guy. There's a lot of this going on, but he's kind of becoming the new religion for a lot of people, especially like young men, like people around my age. They aren't religious. They're kind of lost in the world, and because of that nature to like want to follow something, to want to have some kind of belief, they find that from Andrew Tate, and they begin to follow him like he's like a religious prophet of some kind. And I think that's where the problem is, because not only do they begin to like put him on this high level and think he's like super great and just believe everything he says and follow every action he makes, they will do things that are not good for their own life just because that's what Andrew Tate did. And I think there's nothing wrong with following something you believe in. And I think that's what's good about like most religions, is that sort of all the ideas are kind of in the brain cloud of everyone. And you're not like praying to some person and listening to everything they say like they're God. You're listening to people who are talking about the beliefs of their God that have been passed down for generations. But guys like Andrew Tate, he can say whatever he wants. He doesn't have this religion built around. He's just accidentally become sort of a cult leader. And obviously, it's not like a dangerous cult, but I mean, it is a little bit troublesome. Like if um Andrew Tate were to start doing things illegal, a lot of people might follow along because he's all they have. So that's why it's really best for those who are looking to better themselves to watch a lot of different YouTubers and get the ideas from everywhere and maybe even come up with some ideas on your own. That's what I do. I'll like watch a couple YouTube videos and then I'll take some time to figure out what I need to do in regards to my life. Because a lot of YouTubers like even Hamza might tell you um that you should start working on starting your business. And absolutely that could be really good, but some people they don't need to start a business. That's not the right place in their life for them. Or they're just not the type of person who wants to start a business. And that's okay. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to listen to everything Hamza says. You don't have to listen to everything Denmo says. You can hear a bunch of voices from all across the YouTube platform and then put them together towards yourself. I mean, that's what I do. And that's why most of the time I try to make my videos very general. I don't want to assume who you are that's watching the video. You could be like me, you could be in high school, but maybe you're somebody else. But I'm going to try to give advice that anybody could use no matter where they're at in their lives rather than something too specific. But I think it's okay for some YouTubers to be specific because you might have something specifically you want and you can listen to that. But it's still good to not try to make sure you're not like worshiping these YouTubers because that's where the problem comes in. Most people are probably smart about that, but there are some people who are so alone in the world that they get into that stuck with that YouTuber, and it's sort of a problem. And I don't really know how to solve it other than just spreading the idea around. If we can figure out why it is or how to fix it, then that's perfect. We have our solution. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I know this YouTube channel is still super small. I think for the time being, this is just going to be a way for me to get my ideas out. Like, I don't really care that nobody's listening. It's almost like a diary of sorts. Because I'm going through this journey as well and improving myself. So if anyone does listen along, I'm hoping they can jump along for the ride. Thank you guys. Have a good night.